Hello and thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to program your antenna as a repeater so that you can connect the antenna to your Wi-Fi and then share your internet connection with the sign. By doing that, you'll be able to control the sign remotely from anywhere with any device that has an internet-enabled browser. You can just log in, put your username and password in, and still have access to your sign. So to complete this step, you want to make sure you go through your packing list first and foremost and identify your antenna, your PoE adapter, and the two Ethernet cables. What we're going to do is to connect the antenna to the PoE adapter to the PoE port. So you should have one Ethernet cable from the PoE port going into the WAN/PoE port on your antenna. Once that's done, then you want to go from the LAN port on that adapter to the Ethernet port on the back of your computer. If your computer does not have an Ethernet port, then you'll need possibly a USB to Ethernet adapter, and that allows you to convert one of your USB ports on your computer into an Ethernet port so that you can complete this step. So assuming you have everything set up, you have the adapter going to the antenna to the PoE/WAN/PoE port. You have the LAN port going to the Ethernet port or to your USB to Ethernet adapter, which is then plugged into your PC. Now we're going to move to the next step to assign our computer an IP address so that we can get access to the gateway of the antenna. So to assign your computer an IP address, you want to go to Start and then type Control, and then you can go to the Control panel right there. Once there, you're going to select Network and Sharing Center. You may also have an option that says Network and Internet. They're both the same thing. If you have Network and Internet, then on the next page, you'll see Network and Sharing Center. In this case, I'll just go ahead and select it right here. Then you want to go to the unidentified network, and then you'll notice that it says Ethernet right there, no internet access, and that's telling us, hey, this is our antenna. There's no internet access here. So we want to go ahead and click on that blue icon there that says Ethernet. Then we're going to go to Properties. Then we go to Internet Protocol version 4, and then select Properties. Then when you're logging in for the first time, you'll see this option here that says Obtain an IP address automatically. In this case, you want to choose Use the following IP address, and I'll tell you what to punch in. One thing to note is that if you get to this step and you notice that there's already an IP address there, or if there was something else using your Ethernet port and you unplugged it to connect this device, before you make any changes, you want to record what those settings were so that when we're done, you can come back here and put those settings back. That's so that if you have like a printer or a scanner or any other device that is using that port, maybe your payment terminal, that once you're done, you can put those settings back the way they were and restore your connection to that device as well. So we're going to continue going forward. We'll click Use the following IP address, and then we'll put the IP address 192.168.188.10. And then the subnet mask field, we just have to click into it and it should populate automatically. If it doesn't, you can go ahead and enter those values 255.255.255.0. Once you're done, go ahead and select OK. All right, and then hit close. And close. All right, so now you're going to open a internet browser. So we can go to Chrome, for example. And then once here, we're going to go ahead and enter the gateway for the antenna, which is 192.168.188.253. All right, and then we should see that page loading, and then the password by default is going to be admin, that's ADMIN. Once you're logged into the dashboard, we're going to go to the wizard, and then we're going to click on repeater mode right here. If you notice that this says AP mode, and over here it says switch to repeater mode, then what you'll want to do is to go to your antenna next to that Ethernet port and make sure that that little lever that's there, that little switch, is set to S, not M. All right, so we want to make sure we check that lever, make sure it's set to S, not M. Once you have that set to S, if you did that, it may take a minute or two for the antenna to reboot, but then just reload the page and then follow along. If you're already set to where it says right here, current mode, repeater mode, then you can just go ahead and select it. Then it's going to ask you to enter the SSID for your Wi-Fi. So in this case, you want to enter the SSID for your Wi-Fi. So, and SSID simply just means the name of your Wi-Fi network. It's case sensitive, so make sure you enter it exactly how it's listed. Or you can actually go here and select scan. And then the antenna will search for the list of Wi-Fi networks that are available. In this case, I'm going to connect to this ATT network. Once I have that, then you want to go ahead and put in the password for your Wi-Fi. And once you've entered your password, you're going to go ahead and select next. Now, once you have your password in, go ahead and select next. Then you'll get to this second screen that asks if you want the sign to broadcast a separate Wi-Fi, different from the Wi-Fi that you're repeating. So in this case, you have the option where you can assign a Wi-Fi name. So if you wanted to say, okay, this is the sign, and then you wanted to assign a password specific for this network as opposed to the password for your network, then you can go ahead and do that. You can also set a time for the antenna to reboot, but all of these steps here are optional. I'm going to leave it all off for now, keeping everything unchecked. I'm going to keep it set to timed reboots. I'm going to go ahead and keep the time interval set to 1 day, and then I'll go ahead and select next. We're going to keep it set there to that DHCP and then hit next. Now we're just going to wait for the antenna to cycle. And then once the settings are saved, then we'll log back in there and we'll verify that we do have a connection to the internet. Okay, so once the antenna refreshes, we'll go ahead and put our password back in. So that's admin, ADMIN. Then we'll just look at this table here and we can see that we have good activity happening here going all the way across. If we look at where it says SSID, we can see that we do have a connection to that network that I chose. And we can see the signal quality is pretty good, link quality is pretty good, and we're all set. The other thing that you can do is look at the antenna itself physically, and on the side of the antenna, now you'll notice you have more than just two lights for power and LAN. Now you actually have a Wi-Fi light that's possibly blinking, and then you have a few bars that's demonstrating the signal strength. Okay, so once you're done, you've verified everything. The next thing we want to do is to restore the network settings. Just leave it how we found it. So we'll go back into the control panel, go back into the network and internet, and then this time we're going to go to change adapter option. So let me show you again how I got here. So we went to control panel. We selected the network and internet or network and sharing center. If you chose network and internet, then you'll have an option for network and sharing center. Then over here, since the antenna is now connected, you can see it now has internet. So instead of seeing two different devices, we're seeing the that cable plugged in there. Normally, it would show you your Wi-Fi as well. So on the Ethernet side, we'll go back there, click on Ethernet once more, go to Properties. We're going to go to that TCP/IP4 properties, and we're going to change this back to obtain IP address automatically, and then click OK, and then close. All right, once that is done, then you should have your network settings restored. Go ahead and unplug the antenna from your computer. So disconnect the cable from that WAN/PoE port. Now identify your antenna cable from the set of cables that you received. Connect the Ethernet end into the antenna, the WAN/PoE. Put the cover back on, and you'll notice that on the opposite end of that cable, you have a 9-pin connector, which is going to connect directly to the back of the sign. So out there on the sign, you won't be using the power adapter we use here. That was just so we could program it. Now we're going to take the antenna with the antenna cable and connect it directly to the back of the sign, and you can move to the next step of assembling your display.